Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. This is Eric, KJ4YZI with HamRadioConcepts. New video for you. And in the year 2018, everybody wants to get on DMR, right? What would you have if you had a cell phone in one hand and a DMR radio in the other? You'd have two busy hands, right? But what does it look like when you put the two together and you get on DMR with an Android smartphone with built-in DMR on it?
Living out of a rental apartment in Columbus and going home on the weekends. And when that task was finished up, I took a 2-year tour with Amazon.
This is a video here about the Boxchip S700A, brand new DMR Android smartphone that has just came out in the market. I've had this for about a month and a half. But it's time to show you on a video and show you the current status and what it's becoming and interest you in something that will keep you in communication with your hotspotter, local repeater on DMR, but have your phone in the same hand. So then you can take your other hand and eat a burger or something at the same time.
HamRadioConcepts. The place to come for amateur radio videos.
Now this device here is a unlocked dual SIM Android 6.0 smartphone with a built-in 2-watt analog and DMR VHF or UHF transmitter. Now, the S700A model that I have here does 400 through 470 megahertz at 2 watts on high power, both analog and digital. You can program this from the computer with programming software that Boxchip is developing. Now, in the current status, they're still building and adding and upgrading almost every day the programming software. So we'll save that for a second video when I really get it narrowed down. For now, I was able to use the software to program this thing and get it working on DMR so I could talk on my hotspot. So let's go over the device itself first. Now, with this device here, you have on your left side, you have your volume up and down buttons, a PTT button, a hardware PTT button. And this device can also be used as a network radio for those wanting to get on Zello or TeamSpeak to get it on these newer network radio bridges that are bridging an app to DMR, you know, and that's a whole separate video. But you can assign the PTT button for RF on DMR or analog or the app inside, you know, the app that you choose to use with it. Up here, this button right here above the PTT button is, I don't know how to label it, but that button will, you pushing that assigns the PTT button either using it on RF on DMR or on the app. There could be an issue where if the button is completely assigned to one thing only and you're on, say, the Zello app and you push the button, it'll open the DMR up. So with this button up here, you can change that. Do you want the button to operate on the network radio app or do you want it to operate on DMR? On the top here, you have a rotary dial with clicks, okay? And as of right now, this knob here will work to change different channels and rooms that you're on in a PTT app. If you're on Zello and you want to change different rooms, the current software build on this right now, they have fixed that to do that. So not a volume knob, but more of a channel select knob. The orange button, not really used at this moment, I don't think. I think they call that the SOS button like several other units out there, but I guess that can be assigned to anything else in the future. On top, you have an antenna. I'm glad that we kept the same SMA male antenna adapter on the top with an SMA female adapter antenna. So if you have your favorite SMA antenna for UHF that you want to use, it will screw on. On the right side, we have a button over here, which is a quick camera button. When you push that, the camera opens up. And maybe we can assign that to something else, like a second PTT button or for something else. So the connector on the side looks familiar to some other handhelds. And it does have the option and ability to use external speaker mic like this. So I had this for my HD1 handheld, and I've really never used it. Somebody sent it to me. But look, it goes right on, and it does key the unit. So now I can have a speaker mic. Depending on the kind of speaker mic you get, this one I was told sounds a little bit muffled. It's this one here. This is just a $8 one from eBay, but you have the option for that. On the front, you have 3 hardware buttons: your back, your home, and your task button here. So similar to Android, all other Androids where you have 3 buttons on the bottom. Front firing speaker, which does get quite loud. I got to say, on DMR, it is quite loud. It's got a rear-facing 8-megapixel camera and a front-facing, probably a 2-megapixel on the front. So on the back, I put the belt clip on. It's got a LED here for flash or for flashlight. Now, it does suggest here with the battery terminals on the battery that there is a drop-in charger available on their website. And I want to show you in the link, you can check out, and I would advise, if you're an owner or wanting to own one of these, I would advise that you go to the Facebook group, Boxchip. It seems that there's a couple hundred people in there already, but that is where the manufacturer is listening to the consumers and posting updates and fixing problems right there. So they are coming out with updates quite regularly. I've been working with them a little bit to try to get some bugs worked out, and you know, they sent me some stuff, but now there's a Facebook group. Check that out, Boxchip on Facebook. Join the group. You can get up-to-date programming softwares and ROMs and stuff like that to keep this thing up to date. Now, this is suggested submersible waterproof, so you want to make sure that with these devices, when they're waterproof, that all the little doors and rubber grommets are closed to keep the waterproof rating. For instance, on the bottom here, this is where you would plug in. Let me give you an idea about the plug-in cable here. This operates as a charging cable and a computer tether cable or sync cable. Now, the port on the bottom is not your typical Android charging cable. Let me show you what an Android charging cable looks like, or a typical Android cable, or micro USB. I shouldn't say Android, I should say micro USB. Here is a micro USB cable, if you can see that zoomed in. See if I can get it. Okay, see that? Now, the one that Boxchip is using, I'm not sure if there's a designated name for that, but it is a little bit different. So I would suggest that if you're looking to have several cables, because I have about 63 of these micro USB cables. They come with just about everything nowadays. But the Boxchip has its own cable, so you're going to want to, you know, order a additional one if that's what you're looking for mobile or portable or at your office or whatever. Okay, so you want to keep that little door here closed to retain the waterproofness here. And I'll take the battery off. All right, so the battery here doesn't have a waterproof seal around the battery door, but it does have a waterproof seal at the battery contacts there, around the contacts, and this little black flap under here, this rubber flap. And this is where your SIM cards will go and your memory card. Now, this flap is so waterproof that I can never get this thing off. It's always on there real tight. There we go. Yeah, it is. That's quite a waterproof seal there that I can barely get the thing off. So under the belt clip and the waterproof seal here is where you can put your 2 SIM cards. It is a dual SIM phone with your SD card, micro SD, for additional storage under here. Now, I'm using AT&T, and I am getting 4G LTE. I'm getting almost 100 megs at my location, 100 megabits a second download speed. So that's AT&T. They say it works with T-Mobile. I'm not sure if you'll get the full T-Mobile 4G LTE. I'm not sure, because some of these devices that are coming from China that are global unlocked seem to favor AT&T for the best coverage. So another thing to note now, when you turn this back on, this channel knob is also your power button. So when you want to lock the screen or turn it on and off, you're going to push the button down. See? Push it down until it comes on. That's your on button. Now, that might throw you for a loop if you're looking for a power button. You may automatically assume it's this one, but it is actually the channel button. So you hold that down when your phone is on. You can go to restart or airplane mode, or you can lock the screen tapping that. Let's take a look at the DMR app they call PTT, because that's what everybody wants to see, is the functionality of the DMR in this thing. So it's pretty easy the way it is to navigate. I hope in the future we can redo this app and make it a little more intuitive. But as easy as tapping on the screen or using the PTT button. So let me show you around real quick to walk around. Now, I have a couple things programmed in that I did with the software. For instance, in contact down here, I have several contacts for different talk groups. There's 310068, you got TAC 310, Texas, TAC 311, and so on. Easy enough to add a call, either a private or individual or group call. Just pushing the plus up here. I could type in, let's go Treasure Coast, SURECOAST. And then down here, I just put in the number. That's it. So I just added that. Now you'll see in the list here, 31123. It's there. Over here in the More button, I can go in and go to Channel List, and I have two set up now. One for the local DMR repeater here. That's Wabasso. And then I have one for the hotspot here for the jumbo spot, or the rugged spot, excuse me. And so I can click on that and I can edit the information if I wanted to. And if it comes up with a password, I'm not sure why we have a password in there, but mine I defaulted to 1. By default, it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But you can see I can change from analog to digital, name it, the frequency, transmit, receive, the slot 1, slot 2, color code, and so on. So I can edit it right from the device here. It would make it easier with the software by making a code plug and putting it into your radio, but we'll save that for part 2. Also here, if you wanted to go to channel parameters, you can edit one right here. Like the hotspot I have set up here, 435, low power, slot 2, no encode, color code 1. I can change that right here. All right. Also, so here's where you would update your password if maybe we could take that out one day. Upgrade DMR software will work with upgrades that if they, when you click on it, it's looking for a file in a specific area on the internal storage, and if you put the new one there, it would go ahead and update it. But refer to the Facebook group for that, for any information. Import contacts and channels. So there's 2 files, and you can do it this way too. There's 2 files. One is labeled channel, one is labeled contact, and they're Excel files. Now you can go through and edit the Excel files that you can download from Boxchip on a spreadsheet. Do it Excel, add all the info, and then import those 2 in, and that will also have your channels, your talk groups, and your frequencies, in there. When you go to talk here, you can use the knob up top, and I can switch, see, Wabasso, Treasure Coast, or hotspot, TAC 310. I can just go through them up top on the knob there, so that is working. The volume here is set to number 7 on highest. It seems that number 1 does not silence it all the way. Makes it a little bit lower, but it does not silence it all the way. I think maybe we should have that to where you can mute it totally, but for now it's loud enough where I can hear it in the mobile environment, in the vehicle where it's extremely loud sometimes on the highway or on the side of a bridge. I can hear it. That's what counts to me. So a lot of this can be changed or added or manipulated from the manufacturer. The way it is right now, yes, it will work. It is Tier 2. It is working with my rugged spot. It is working with a repeater with the RF output. So that's how you may look at this video a year from when it's posted, and it's totally different from now. Who knows? But so there you go. Now you can also, here's your radio ID. That's your DMR ID, and recordings. So you can record conversations. You can see here that these are the recordings that I made, or that automatically recorded. So it is recording all of those. My ID 5100 does that. And there is SMS here. For on DMR, if you wanted to send a short message or a text message, you can do that. You can go to contact. You can go to, if you had a contact of someone, for instance, KJ4YZI, and you can hit SMS. Now I could write a message, and it's going to direct that message to 311-2887, which is me. So you can text message on here. I have not tried it to verify if it is working, but the option does exist. So I have TeamSpeak loaded on here also, connected to the International Radio Network Crosslink server. There's a whole separate video on this. This is network radio, so you can actually talk with other hams in this list via a network, Wi-Fi or cellular, when you don't have RF in your area. And you could also connect in on, say, cellular and come out to certain talk groups that are cross-linked to other ones, RF links. You know, they go to DMR and Fusion, and they're cross. So the International Radio Network, or we call it network radio, is capable on here. And the cool thing is the button I told you about up here, you could actually push that button, and this will toggle the main PTT button from either the network side or the RF side. So right now I do have DMR running in the background, and if I go like this, I can go to DMR. Now, if somebody came in on DMR, I could push this button up here, and that would switch my PTT for DMR, or I could just go back to the international or the TeamSpeak, wherever I have it here. Let's see, TeamSpeak, and I could switch the button over. That way, you're not pushing the PTT button and it's transmitting on both, you know, because that would happen. So that is, you know, it is working here. There's more information on my video I did about the IRN, but you can check that out too. For those using network radio, I mean, it really sounds good on this end. The speaker is loud. The thing with me is I drive a lot, so I want to make sure that the audio is loud in a vehicle, because if it's not, I got to hold it to my ear. You know, at least I could leave this thing sitting in a cup holder if I ever get on DMR with the background noise of the driving, you know?
Yeah, yeah. But right there, it sounds perfect to me. And what did you say it was? What kind of radio or phone or whatever you call it?
It is by a company called Boxchip, B-O-X-C-H-I-P. It is the S700A. This is the UHF analog and DMR version smartphone running Android.
Well, that's good. How does it receive on analog compared to an analog-only radio? You know, I just got one of the new Alinco DMR HTs, hoping the receive on analog would be a little bit more sensitive, but it's equal to the Anytone 868 I have.
You know, I'm not sure. I'll have to do a non-unprofessional or a very amateur comparison. I guess I'll have to check that out on analog. I don't use much analog anymore, but I'll have to compare it to something like my Yaesu FT2D and see how it works. I gotta see if I can hit the analog UHF machine from where I'm at, or I'll do it one day when I'm in town. Here is the Facebook group, Boxchip. You can type this in here, Boxchip S700A or B, and the link is in the description for those who want to jump in. But you can see here that this group here, they do have, you know, questions, answers from people, you know, troubleshooting. So I, myself being part of this, am going to learn from others that have joined here, and you as well who would get in here. So, because we're, you know, on the ground floor trying to improve this thing. So, you know, join the, we're looking here, 171 members. I want to see that thing 200 by tomorrow morning. But anyways, that's the Facebook page, because a lot of people always ask, Eric, you should, where is this? Well, it's in the description, but you could type that in and find it as well. So the Boxchip S700A. I'll give it a shot in the next few weeks. We will, you know, so far I've made a couple contacts on it. They've given me good reports. I will check it out in the field in the next few weeks. I'll be on one of the local talk groups and check it out and see how it does. My thing is this. This is not a comparison to any other device in the market similar currently, because two different animals. I like to be in on the ground floor of something that's being developed and watch it evolve. This one can use a little more work, but the manufacturer seems to be right up, you know, with wanting to make fixes. Now, with the help of everybody that would see this and join the Facebook group and say, hey, you know, maybe add this, tweak that. you know, it may prove to be a really awesome device. It gives you functionality right now for DMR as it sits, but a lot of things can be added with a developer that has the tools of doing it. I like watching this thing, and maybe a year from now this device will be totally reinvented. Who knows? But I like that. There are, you know, other devices out there that do the same thing as this, but they're really seasoned and they are proven to work. But I have more fun playing with stuff and watching it update and getting the you know, this and that, than I do actually just keeping it in my arsenal of ready-to-go devices. That's just kind of... I did the same thing with the Zygu X5105. I had one of those when they were still coming out with updates and fixes, and I thought that was fun to me. So it's a little bit different than my 7300. That thing is a staple, and it's ready to go. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. I'll do a video again in the future of the you know, the updates and device, you know, on this device here. Everything you can expect from it as far as you know, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and everything is working. Stay subscribed. More videos on the way. So click the notification bell so that when I make a video and post it, you get to watch it right like this. You don't want to be the one left out that says, "Oh, I didn't know you made a video on that." You got to stay subscribed. 7-3 from KJ4YZI.